Okay, this is, there's a bit of a squeak there, wasn't it? This is the component 1 task booklet. We're on question 8, and this is, let me see, what have we got, because it's homework time. We've got a calculator, pen, pencil, ruler and a highlighter. This one doesn't work apparently. I'll have a pink one instead. So we've got a big diagram here. They're always a little bit oof, and it's the diagram of the nitrogen cycle, so at least we know what we're talking about. So where to start? You've got to start somewhere. So I like to start with decomposition. It's a bonus. I really like decomposition. So what have we got going on here? We've got decomposition makes something, compound X, which is lost somehow, or goes to make nitrite. So what do I know about nitrite? I'm thinking that here, this process from X through to Y is nitrification. I'm thinking therefore that that's ammonium ions, and I'm thinking that nitrite is converted to nitrate. We've then got nitrate going back to nitrogen gas in the air, that's N2, so that process will be denitrification. And then we've got an arrow going back to nitrate with lightning, so that's fixing nitrogen gas. We've got process Z, whatever that is, and that's converting nitrogen gas in the air to ammonium ions, so that will be also, that's a fixation process. Because we're fixing nitrogen, we'll call it nitrogen fixation. So then we've got ammonium ions in the soil, which makes me think, hang on a minute, is that ammonium ions? Would it be on twice? Maybe. Proteins, so absorbed to make proteins in plants, and yeah, that makes sense. Nitrate absorbed to make proteins in plants. Don't quite know how they'd be lost, but anyway, think about that later. Proteins in animals, then we've got death, decomposition, and of course excretion of ammonium, or perhaps urea. So, urea of course in soil is broken down into ammonium. So when I'm naming chemicals X and Y, I am going to go for ammonium with that because of the ammonium nitrate thing, which is that sort of real key bit. And I need to remember to call it ammonium, and it says name, so I can't give the formulae. So ammonium, I'm going to call those ions, and Y then is nitrate. Explain. Explain means give a reason, so I want to use the word because in there. So explain what happens in process Z. So this is process Z. Nitrogen in the air to ammonium ions, so that's nitrogen fixation. So how am I going to put the word because in there? You just need to think about it, how you're going to fit the word because in. So I could either go free living bacteria in soil because, no, that doesn't work. So nitrogen gas, that's what I've got up here. Nitrogen gas is fixed into ammonium ions because, there we go, got it in. Dr. Savile's singing Wizard of Oz songs because of don't, I'm going to write the wonderful things. Be quiet. Because of the action of nitrogen fixing bacteria in soil And the other thing I know is we find them in root nodules. Okay, suggest. Ooh, suggest. One way in which total nitrogen can be lost from an area of land. So I've got a few things. I've got a few losses on here. So I've got one there and one there, and one there and one there. So I'm thinking proteins in plants, that could be harvesting. And then all of these ions obviously are soluble in water, so that's leaching. And of course we've got denitrification, returning it back. So any of those I think would do. So from the diagram then, denitrification or leaching, which is that idea that they dissolve and run off into rivers, or harvesting crops. Oh, another suggest question, these higher level things. 2, so I've got 2 spaces here, direct consequences. What's going to happen directly if with no decomposers in a forest floor? So what do decomposers do? They deal with all the dead things. So there would be dead plants and animals. And this is a pleasant thought. Feces would not be decomposed. So no decomposers, no getting rid of the dead things, and would build up. So that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Kill the decomposers, wade around in dead squirrels forever. And then obviously the death, what are the decomposers doing? They're converting the proteins into ammonium, so there would be a less ammonium ions would be released into soil. And the consequence of that be a reduction in soil fertility, reducing soil fertility. Okay, that's super. We're nearly at the end of this. Describe one advantage. So one advantage, we only need to describe it, we don't need to explain it, of ploughing for the process of nitrification. So what do I know about nitrification? I'm going from NH4 to NO to NO3, so it needs oxygen. So ploughing is going to increases the air in the soil for nitrifying bacteria. Or you could argue that it increases the drainage, so there's less anaerobic. I think that will do. Super duper.